Hi, my name is Marita Moore, and this is my speech for public speaking. February 22nd, 2018, Pyeongchang, South Korea. For the first time in over 25 years, the U.S. women's hockey team won gold. 2015, Canada, and 2019, France. The USA women's soccer team won back-to-back World Cup champions. We watched and we cheered for these girls to achieve the dreams that they've had since they were little kids. We got to watch the tears of joy stream down their face as they got the medals placed around their neck. Our hearts swelled with pride and joy for these girls. We watched their media rounds when they got back for the next couple of months. And we were so happy for them, and they were so happy. But where were you when these players struggled financially during the other 3 years? Where was your support when these girls won championships in the leagues that they played in that were struggling financially? Where were you when they were suing their governing bodies for sex discrimination? The WPS folded due to teams in a close proximity and range. Due to travel and expense, this was the only way that they could have a professional women's soccer league. This is almost the same in every other women's professional sport. So what does this mean for the future? They had no support from MLS, the men's soccer league, other than a few in-stadium promotions during the men's games. The markets were so small, they didn't draw enough money to allow them to keep running and open. The CWHL folded because they had to file for bankruptcy. This was the first professional women's hockey league. They didn't have enough money to run teams, which the players didn't even get paid for playing. They didn't have money to afford for transportation, afford for rink time, coaching staff, media time that they weren't getting. They had to auction off everything and everything they had just to afford to pay back their debts. This included auctioning off their championship cup, the Clarkson Cup. The NWHL and the NWSL are the only two professional leagues for soccer and hockey for women in North America left. However, they are not perfect in any way possible. My friend Chelsea Ladden actually showed me a pay stub from the NWHL when she played. She was the starting goalie for the Connecticut Whale and was traded halfway through the season to the New York Riveters. She made $18,000 for that entire season. $18,000. She was a full-time optometry student. As a full-time student who works about 15 to 20 hours a week, about, give or take, I made about $25,000 last year. Significantly more than her, a professional women's athlete. She had to attend midnight skates as a full-time student. Midnight skates. Because that was the only time they could skate, since most of the other women had 9-to-5 jobs. Most of these women were teachers, nurses, accountants, engineers. Ashley Johnson from the New York Riveters was an engineer up in Albany. She had to take a 3-hour ride just to practice in Brooklyn. Just to practice 3 hours for midnight skate and then driving back to be to work the next day. The biggest thing you could do right now, if you want to help these leagues, is to care. There are just so many ways you can care. If you see a professional women's game on and you want to watch that sport, watch the women's game. It's just about the same as men. The only difference is it's women. It's the same speed, it's the same game. So why not support the women? You want to go to a sporting event with friends? Go to a women's game. They're cheaper too, so it's a win-win. You get to watch a sport, and you get to save money. I think it's a win. The league needs any financial support they can get, saying that's the major threat that's causing them to shut down. So the money that you pay for the ticket, usually they're $20, $25. That could make or break a league. If you don't want to spend money, you don't have to spend anything. You don't. Just pay attention. And publicly show your support for these women. Not just every 4 years. Currently, the U.S. women's soccer team is suing for gender discrimination. There's a major gap in pay, even though the women's team brings home more money during the tournaments than the men's teams does, and they bring home more championships. The men earn about $263,320 per year. Do you know how much the women make per year? $99,000. That means the men make $13,166 per game, and the women earn $4,950. Their court date is set for May 20th of this year. This is one way you could support them. Pay attention to the case as it's happening. Root for the girls. Go on social media and take a stance publicly that this could cause more people to follow behind you. All you have to do is care. Not just every once in 4 years for a month. Because these women are playing all year for those 3 years where you're not paying attention.